son. You can't run from your past.
Is this what you wanted?
Greetings, sir, if this may concern. Christian Aguilar here, back with another movie review, and in today's movie review I'm going to be reviewing Marvel's newest film, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Shang-Chi stars Simu Liu, Awkwafina, Tony Leung, Fa La Chen, Michelle Yeoh, and Ben Kingsley. Now, right off the bat, I'm going to give Shang-Chi a rating of 3.5 Skarsgårds. Yes, this movie was really fun. I will give it that. 100% fun, and the acting was spot on. I loved the jokes. It was really, really funny, and it got a little emotional there at the end with the whole father-son relationship, and the fight at the end was a real nice conclusion to this father-son relationship. I will let you know I'm not that familiar with Shang-Chi in the comics. I know a little bit about him here and there. I've seen him once or twice. I also know that Brendan Lee was in talks to play Shang-Chi back in the 90s in a TV series, and that was Stan Lee's pitch. He wanted that to follow kind of like the kung fu movies of like the 60s and 70s, you know. And Shang-Chi himself, the character, was based off of Bruce Lee, so he thought that Brendan Lee playing the character would be a nice homage to the character as a whole, and also to his father, Bruce. We know now that it didn't come to fruition, so now, many years later, we finally get a Shang-Chi movie. And I have to say, I admire how Marvel is taking this gamble and has the confidence in putting out new superhero movies surrounded by superheroes that aren't really that familiar to the general public. They are doing what they did with the Guardians back in the day. Guardians of the Galaxy, before the movie, hardly anyone could tell you who the Guardians of the Galaxy were unless you were a huge comic book nerd. It's the same thing for the Eternals and Shang-Chi, you know? Not a lot of people know of these cats unless you are really into the comics. And to tell you, without knowing too much of the comics, I really enjoyed myself. Again, this is a fun ride. The fights were really, really fun, well choreographed. Everything was nice and laid out. I mean, at times it felt like a dance, you know, because of how well they fought. Not only great fighting, but a plethora of new creatures introduced to the Marvel Universe. I mean, once they go through the waterfall and they get to Tai Lao, I think that's what the name of that hidden land was beyond the waterfall. When they get there, it's just like, we just are introduced to so many new creatures, and it's just like, I turned to my mom when we were sitting in the theater, and I'm like, they are really getting into the deep side of the comics. Like, they're really going out there and bringing that stuff to life, and I cannot admire it more. I will say, as a couple of nitpicks of mine, it is pretty basic, straightforward. Here's the origin, here's the hero. Guy secretly doesn't know how powerful he is. He keeps it a secret amongst everyone else. Then he has to go and find himself and really tap into his full potential to become the hero that he is destined to be. It's that same story over again. And of course, it has a little bit of that like father versus son dynamic. Those of you that have read the comic or have seen the show Invincible, that same father-son dynamic is here. Not as intense, but it is still there, and I liked how they basically brought the accurate Mandarin to life. That was one big critique. I mean, probably the main critique of Iron Man 3 was basically the disrespect they did to the Mandarin character. I mean, I was really excited to see the Mandarin come to life, like many people, and then the whole promotional videos with Ben Kingsley giving those creepy speeches, just amazing. That was like perfection almost, until they revealed that Ben Kingsley was actually an actor named Trevor, you know, and I was like, whoa, okay. But I like how they took that crazy character reveal and they expanded on it, and Trevor became one of my favorite characters in this movie, along with that little four-legged furry winged creature thing that he kept carrying around. And I found it hilarious how he thought he was hallucinating, and when Shang-Chi and Katie, played by Awkwafina, comes in, he's basically like, oh, you can see him too? Oh, thank God, I thought I was hallucinating. So I really love the humor in this. I really love how they expanded on that character. Basically kind of gave him his own little redemption arc. He became like a comedic relief, and that was really cool. It was also cool to see Awkwafina start as the comedic relief and then evolve into a warrior. It was really cool to see her pick up the bow and kind of like master archery. It'll be real awesome to see Awkwafina and Haley Steinfeld's Kate Bishop side by side or back to back with bow and arrows, or kind of have like in a friendly competition. That'd be so cool to see sometime in the near future, and I can't wait, and I hope that they cross over multiple characters from all these new Marvel projects. I really hope that's the case. Another nitpick, the pacing, again, goes with that whole typical origin that we usually see when it comes to first-time superheroes. The pacing, it slows down a bit to kind of like go back and kind of like explain some things for you. I think the best flashback was probably the beginning, like the opening scene, seeing the Mandarin in his prime using the rings for the first time. I really like the opening of this movie. However, there's some parts where it feels like it slows down a bit and the story kind of like comes to a halt just to explain a couple things. It's understandable, but I feel like they could have revealed them and educated the audience in a little bit more of a clever way. Don't ask me how. But I just feel like it could have paced itself a tad bit better. However, it's made up with the cameo from Wong. Seeing Wong in here was really, really cool. I wasn't in the theater with too many people, so there wasn't that much of an audience reaction. However, I felt that little pause in that moment, that little beat when they were pushing in on Wong, and that little moment was like meant for like an audience reaction. And I find that hilarious how a lot of Marvel movies purposely kind of like put that in their formula. Have a beat of a reveal for a character so the audience can cheer, so they won't miss out on any lines or anything. It's pretty noticeable when you're not in a theater full of people excited to see the movie, you know, kind of like an opening weekend type vibe. I saw it yesterday, Friday. I'm recording this today, Saturday. Yeah, there just wasn't as many people in the local theater that I live near. So if you've seen this in a theater with a full packed audience and they were responding to it, you're the lucky one. You had the better experience. However, I'm not letting that diminish what I think of the film. There was also a couple of shots that looked pretty fake, particularly the bus scene where they're fighting in the bus and the bus is like driving up and down San Francisco streets. One, I feel like the bus is like way too spacious to fit and hold that fight. Like the way they were fighting, it felt like there was too much damn room in that bus, and it just felt really unrealistic. Like, I'm like, okay, how much space is in this damn bus? Like, come on. Like, they were doing like flips and walking on the walls, kind of like Matrix style a little bit, and so many like crazy over the top stunts just being performed in a tight confined vehicle. It didn't really feel like it made sense logistically. Like, there's not going to be that much room on a bus to fight all these guys, but there is in this movie, and you just gotta suspend your disbelief and just have fun with the ride. There was also like a wide shot, kind of like it cut to the outside of the bus and you see the bus turn a corner really frantically. I feel like that shot showing the outside bus, this bus just looked very CGI and very like placed into the frame. And with Marvel and Disney having all that money accumulated with them, I feel like they could have gave Shang-Chi just a little bit bigger of a budget, because why did that look fake? You're a Marvel movie. Nothing should really be sticking out as like, hey, this is kind of fake, you know? And I felt that with parts of the bus scene. But regardless of that, I really like the chemistry that Shang-Chi and Katie have in this movie. Of course, they're setting up their romance, which I assume is heavily featured in the comics, just like a Mary Jane and Spider-Man type deal. But I really like how they're best friends at heart, you know? It's like, yeah, the relationship could be there, but at heart, I don't think their friendship is ever going to be tainted by a relationship if they were to get into one. And that's just a testament to the dynamic between the two characters and then the writing for the characters too. So I really admire that as well. And that's something you need if you're going to introduce these two characters to be like a mainstay in your universe, which if you see the post-credit scene, it's pretty cool to see them kind of already crossing over with like Hulk and Captain Marvel. So it is really, really cool to know that eventually Shang-Chi will like fight side by side with the characters that we all know and love. So that is it for today. Thank you so much for reaching to the end of this video. Please like, share, subscribe to support this little side hobby I am doing. And did you see Shang-Chi? Let me know down below. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Felt like it could have been better? Felt like it was great? Let me know down below. Friendly reminder, The Rendered Image, a show I host with my good friends Tyler and Shannon over on Tyler's channel. I'll leave the link down in the description like always. I hope you're all safe and well out there, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.